Have you ever heard the sound? The faint, dry rustle of a dying petal as it strikes the floor. A palatial estate, a herd of cattle, a mountain of silver that should have lasted generations. Everything you once owned was traded for this single flower, and now it is crumbling before your eyes. There was a time when this sound of wilting consumed thousands of lives. Welcome to the Netherlands, 1637. You are standing in the center of a golden age, watching as humanity prepares to strangle itself with its own obsession. The 17th century Netherlands, a nation that conquered the seas and gathered the world's riches. This was the Golden Age, a time of unparalleled prosperity. Grand stone mansions lined the canals. Citizens dressed in fine silks and dined on exotic spices. But wealth has a strange way of distorting the soul. The steady rewards of labor were no longer enough. People began to crave a deeper thrill, a way to multiply their riches without effort. Excessive wealth awakened a bottomless greed that had been sleeping within. And the target of this hunger was a single, imported flower, the tulip. What captivated the masses was not the flower itself, but its eerie, streaked patterns, crimson flames licking across a white field. To the people of that time, these were masterpieces painted by God. But the truth was far more sinister. Those patterns were the marks of a virus, a sickness that invaded the bulb and destroyed its tissues. Ironically, the more beautiful the flower appeared, the sicker it was. It was closer to its end. Humanity placed a value greater than a nobleman's estate on the death throes of a dying plant. A twisted world where the closer something was to death, the more it was worth. The infection of the virus had begun to infect the sanity of the people. This madness soon manifested in terrifying numbers. History records a specific list of goods offered for a single bulb: 24 tons of wheat, 48 tons of rye, 4 fat oxen, 8 pigs, 12 sheep, 2 hogsheads of wine, 4 tons of beer, 2 tons of butter, 300 kilograms of cheese, a bed, a suit of clothes, and a silver drinking cup. All of this, a family's entire livelihood, was surrendered for a single dirt-covered root, to sacrifice a lifetime of security for a one-week bloom. This was no longer a trade. It was a collective sacrifice, a ritual offering to an invisible god of greed. Eventually, the frenzy left reality behind. In the dead of winter, while the bulbs were still buried in the frozen earth, people traded absent roots that had not yet sprouted. Only slips of paper, contracts, flew through the air. They were no longer buying flowers. They were buying expectations, an invisible, uncertain hope that next year would bring even greater beauty. Bakers abandoned their ovens. Craftsmen sold their tools. Everyone joined this game of musical chairs, believing that they would be the ones to escape before the music stopped. But deep down, they must have known. This house of cards stood only as long as there was a greater fool willing to pay an even higher price. February 1637, a cold, misty morning in Haarlem. At an auction house, a single buyer uttered a word that had been forgotten. "No, I will not pay that price." That one rejection triggered a domino effect that shattered the illusion. In an instant, contracts worth the fortunes of kings became worthless scraps of paper. Society transformed into a nightmare. The streets echoed with the screams of creditors and debtors. Neighbors who had lived side by side for years now gripped each other's throats in the mud of back alleys. The courts were paralyzed. The government chose national abandonment, declaring all contracts void. There was no rescue. All that remained were mountainous debts and a few shriveled, ugly roots in the dirt. To be consumed by a monster of value that you created yourself. Is this truly just a story of ignorant people from the distant past? Look at the numbers flashing across your screen today. The digital wealth that exists only because of collective enthusiasm. How is it any different from a virus-infected bulb from 500 years ago? When greed reaches its breaking point, it once manifested in the patterns of a flower. Today, it dances in the form of digital charts. The sound of that wilting leaf is still echoing behind the noise of the modern market. Records of darkness. After the madness faded, spring arrived in the Netherlands as it always did. In the garden of a man who lost everything, a tulip, once worth the wealth of a nation, blooms quietly, but no one looks at it anymore. Ask yourself, the thing you are sacrificing your life to obtain, when the magic of its value fades tomorrow, will it still stay by your side? Or is it merely waiting to crumble into a dry, dead leaf and slip through your fingers?